The rumor didn't crawl in quietly. It detonated. Overnight, blogs pushed a blind item claiming Blac Chyna might be expecting again, and within hours, fan pages were stitching evidence. An oversized hoodie here, a cropped selfie there, and a conveniently quiet week on stories. Then came the spark that turned whispers into wildfire. Rob Kardashian's tiny interaction, a like on a glossy throwback and a follow back that no one expected. That was all it took. Timelines flooded. Old clips resurfaced. Comment sections split into teams. Was this a soft launch or a setup? But before the internet could crown a verdict, Rob finally broke his silence. No dramatic confessional. No sit-down interview. Just a blunt, muted note that said more by what it didn't say. He asked for privacy, pointed the spotlight away from himself, and back onto the only person he's publicly consistent about, his daughter. And with that, the story twisted. Because if Rob isn't denying and he isn't confirming, what is he really telling us? This isn't just recycled Kardashian drama. It's a fresh standoff between public curiosity and private boundaries, with Khloé fuming on one side, Chyna's new Angela White era on the other, and Rob stuck in the pressure valve between them. Keep watching, because the message Rob posted wasn't the end of the story. It was the match. When the rumor hit peak velocity, Rob stepped in with the softest hard stop he's ever used. A plain background, a short note. No names, no drama, just a firm reminder his life isn't a group project. He said he's focused on co-parenting, asked people to keep Dream out of the noise, and shut the door on speculation without locking it. Comments, off mentions, flooded anyway. And that's where it got interesting, because silence is one thing, controlled silence is another. Rob didn't deny anything outright. He didn't confirm it either. He cut the oxygen to the loudest takes and left the room, which made the room louder. Screenshots of his story bounced across TikTok. Fan accounts read between lines that weren't even there. And inside the family, the temperature spiked. Khloé called it irresponsible. Kris called it measured. Kylie stayed quiet, which, in this family, says a lot. What Rob did was simple but strategic. He made the conversation about boundaries, not headlines. If there's a reunion, it won't be announced by a blog. If there's a baby on the way, you won't hear it from a source close to the situation. Rob set his position in 9 calm sentences and vanished, which left everyone else scrambling to speak for him. It started, as most Kardashian crises do, with a post that looked harmless, until it wasn't. Late one night, Blac Chyna dropped a single picture on Instagram. Dim lighting, silk outfit, glossy hair, the caption reading only, "This love is forever, Rob." No tags. No emojis, no explanation. Within minutes, fans noticed something no one had seen in years, Rob Kardashian's tiny pink heart beneath it. One tap, one like, one spark that blew up the internet. Screenshots flooded X and TikTok before sunrise. Edits spliced old Rob and Chyna clips with the caption, "Season 2." Gossip blogs rushed headlines like, "Rob can't quit Chyna." And while strangers were laughing, Khloé Kardashian was reportedly pacing, because for her that heart wasn't cute, it was a warning sign. She found out the same way everyone else did, scrolling her feed. No call, no text. Just a public reminder that the woman who once sued her family might be back in their orbit. Inside the Calabasas group chat, the tone flipped fast. Kris Jenner asked if it was a prank. Kim wanted screenshots removed before TMZ grabbed them. Khloé, she saw it as betrayal. After everything, the lawsuit, the headlines, the humiliation, Rob was publicly liking Chyna's photo. To her, that wasn't romance. It was rebellion. But Rob didn't follow up, didn't delete, didn't clarify. He just stayed quiet while the internet lost its mind. That silence made fans double down. Some claimed it proved reconciliation. Others swore it was trolling. Either way, the damage was done. One like had revived a 7-year-old feud, and as Khloé's phone kept buzzing, she realized this wasn't random. It was personal. By sunrise, the family group chat wasn't just active, it was on fire. Khloé's messages came in rapid bursts, all caps, demanding answers no one could give. "Did anyone know about this?" she reportedly typed. Silence. Not even Kris had a clue. The matriarch was caught off guard, Kim was already on a damage control call, and Kylie just sent the eyes emoji. But Khloé wasn't amused. She'd spent years protecting Rob, defending him in interviews and begging producers to leave his name out of family scandals. And this was how she found out he was talking to Blac Chyna again? Through Instagram? For her, that wasn't just humiliating. It was betrayal wrapped in heartbreak. Khloé has always called Rob her second baby, the one sibling she felt responsible for. When he vanished from the spotlight, she checked in daily. When his mental health tanked, she shielded him from tabloids. But loyalty in her world is supposed to go both ways. After the lawsuit, she'd drawn a hard line. No one from that chaos ever comes back in. And Rob? He just stepped over it with one double tap. Insiders say the conversation between Khloé and Rob got heated fast. She accused him of forgetting everything their family went through. Rob, usually quiet, allegedly told her to stay out of it. That cut deep. This was her little brother, the one she swore to protect, suddenly shutting her out. Kris tried to play peacekeeper, reminding everyone that Rob's happiness mattered most. But Khloé wasn't buying it. Happiness? With the woman who dragged them through court for over $100 million? To her, that wasn't happiness. That was déjà vu waiting to explode. And just when she thought things couldn't get worse, a new rumor dropped that made everything spiral. It started as a whisper. One anonymous post on a gossip forum claiming Blac Chyna was quietly expecting again. Within hours, it became a digital wildfire. Fans began dissecting every new photo, every hoodie, every carefully cropped selfie. TikTok detectives were convinced Chyna was hiding a baby bump. Blogs ran with clickbait headlines like, "Baby Dream might get a sibling" and "Chyna's secret pregnancy with Rob." The timing couldn't have been worse. Khloé saw the first rumor before her morning coffee. One insider claimed she nearly threw her phone across the room. Because for Khloé, this wasn't gossip, and it was disaster. A new baby wouldn't just reconnect Rob and Chyna emotionally, it would legally and permanently tie their family back to the woman who once tried to take them down in court. It wasn't about jealousy, it was about control, and the Kardashians were losing it fast. Behind closed doors, crisis meetings began. Kim pushed for silence, Kris called PR teams, and Khloé, she paced. Reports say she told friends, "This isn't a love story, it's a trap." Meanwhile, the internet had already chosen sides. Team Chyna flooded her comments with heart emojis and congratulations, while others accused her of orchestrating the whole thing for relevance. Then came the blind items, those mysterious gossip posts hinting that Chyna's financial situation was dire, and she was looking to secure stability through a familiar face. The implication was brutal, that this reunion wasn't romantic, it was strategic. But if that's true, it means Rob's in deeper trouble than anyone thought. And if you think Khloé's anger was bad before, wait until you hear why this rumor hit her harder than any tabloid headline ever could. To understand Khloé's fury, you have to rewind to 2017, the year Blac Chyna turned from family acquaintance to courtroom rival. After her explosive breakup with Rob, she didn't just walk away, she went to war. Chyna filed a $100 million lawsuit against Kris, Kim, Khloé, and Kylie, accusing them of using their power to sabotage her career by allegedly convincing E! To cancel her show Rob and Chyna. For a family that thrives on controlling the narrative, that lawsuit was a public execution attempt. Every headline felt like an attack. The Kardashians, usually untouchable, suddenly looked vulnerable. Court documents leaked. Private messages were read aloud. Chyna's lawyers painted the family as manipulative puppeteers who destroyed her future out of jealousy and revenge. Cameras weren't allowed inside the courtroom, but the press didn't need them. The drama wrote itself. Khloé especially took it personally. She wasn't just another defendant. She was the voice who'd always defended Rob publicly. Sitting through that trial, hearing her name dragged through the mud, was something she swore she'd never forget. And even though the Kardashians ultimately won, with the jury ruling in their favor, Khloé walked away hardened. The verdict cleared their name, but not the sting. She later said, "It's hard to have a relationship with someone who sues you for hundreds of millions." That line became her mantra, her justification for cutting Chyna out completely. So when she saw Rob liking Chyna's post again, after everything, it wasn't just confusion. It was betrayal layered over years of courtroom scars, and yet not everyone saw it that way. Some fans thought Rob's heart emoji was forgiveness, not foolishness. But to really understand why Rob might have opened that door again, you have to go back even further, to the chaotic love story that started it all. Before the lawsuits, before the headlines, before the endless chaos, there was love, or at least what looked like it. When Rob Kardashian and Blac Chyna went public in early 2016, no one saw it coming. Rob had been a ghost for years, rarely seen, struggling with depression, weight gain, and media scrutiny. Then suddenly, he reappeared with Chyna on his arm, smiling for the first time in forever. To the outside world, it looked like she'd brought him back to life. To his family, it looked like a ticking time bomb. At first, their relationship felt electric. Rob was posting again, buying roses, talking about starting a family. He said Chyna saved him. Fans called it a redemption arc, a comeback story. But behind the scenes, cracks were already forming. Their love was passionate but volatile, and their arguments made their affection look like fire and gasoline. Every fight became a headline, every post a clue. When Baby Dream was born, the public saw a fairy tale, a new chapter for Rob. But within weeks, everything fell apart. Accusations flew, cheating, jealousy, money problems. Rob's infamous Instagram meltdown came next. Private photos, angry captions, emotional chaos. His account got shut down. Their relationship imploded on a global stage. Chyna accused Rob of revenge posting and manipulation. Rob claimed she used him to get back at Kylie, the sister who had started dating her ex, Tyga. Suddenly, their love story wasn't just a couple's fight, it was Kardashian family warfare. But here's the twist. For all the destruction, when they were together, Rob seemed alive, happier, softer. That's what makes their possible reunion so complicated. To some, it's madness. To others, it's hope. And that's where Chyna's next chapter changes everything, because Blac Chyna isn't who she is anymore. Some comebacks are loud, but Blac Chyna's was almost spiritual. After years of public chaos, she stepped away from the spotlight and began rebuilding her life piece by piece. Not as Blac Chyna, the reality TV villain, but as Angela White, the woman behind the tabloid name. It started quietly, a video of her dissolving her fillers, reducing her breast and hip implants, and saying, "I want to be the real me again." It was the kind of moment no one expected from a woman once accused of chasing fame. Suddenly, she wasn't flaunting. She was cleansing. Then came the shocker that made even her critics pause. She deleted her multi-million-dollar OnlyFans account, the same platform that once reportedly earned her over $20 million a year. "It's not who I want to be anymore," she told her followers. The next clip showed her baptism. Full white robe, tears, peace. "I'm starting fresh. I'm starting as Angela." That clip went viral. Fans who once mocked her began calling it the biggest rebrand of 2023. But not everyone believed it. Khloé certainly didn't. To her, it wasn't redemption. It was strategy. Insiders say Khloé viewed Angela's transformation as PR, a way to rebuild her image just long enough to slide back into Rob's world. "This isn't spiritual," she allegedly told friends. "It's calculated." Still, public opinion started shifting. Interviews showed a softer Angela, speaking about motherhood, faith, and forgiveness. The same tabloids that once called her toxic were now writing "comeback queen." She'd traded filters for scripture and chaos for calm. But beneath that halo, Khloé sensed a plan. Because when someone reinvents themselves that completely, it's either evolution or manipulation, and Khloé wasn't about to wait to find out which one. As Angela White's redemption story gained traction, the internet began to look at someone else, Khloé. At first, fans praised her for protecting her brother, but soon the tone shifted. Was Khloé's concern really about Rob, or about control? Old clips from Keeping Up with the Kardashians resurfaced. Khloé reading Rob's private texts aloud, teasing him about his girlfriends, showing up unannounced at his house to check on him. Back then, it felt like funny sibling banter. But now, viewers saw something different. An obsession disguised as love. Reddit threads and gossip forums lit up with theories. Some said Khloé had a control complex when it came to Rob, treating him less like a brother and more like someone she needed to manage. Others called it projection, that she poured her unresolved pain from Tristan's betrayals into micromanaging Rob's relationships. Whatever the motive, the pattern was clear. Whenever Rob seemed happy with someone, Khloé became skeptical, even territorial. Insiders close to the family admit Khloé has always been the fixer, but with Rob, that protectiveness sometimes crossed a line. One source claimed, "Khloé doesn't realize she suffocates him. It's coming from love, but it's too much." And when Blac Chyna, now Angela, came back into the picture, that control was threatened. Fans began speculating that Khloé's panic wasn't just about the lawsuit or family image, it was about losing influence over the one person she thought she could save. Because if Rob forgave Angela, it meant Khloé's grip was slipping. And just when people started dissecting that, another familiar name dropped a cryptic post that sent the drama spinning again. One that made everyone wonder if history was repeating itself all over. Just when things felt like they couldn't get any messier, Tyga decided to log in. The rapper, who shares a son with Blac Chyna and famously dated Kylie Jenner, dropped a series of cryptic Instagram stories that had subtweet energy written all over them. No names, no tags, just pointed quotes like, "Some people never change," and "Know your worth, don't make the same mistake twice." Fans didn't need context. They knew exactly who he was talking about. Within minutes, screenshots flooded Twitter and Reddit threads were buzzing. One post in particular hit harder, a black background, white text that read, "History repeats when lessons go unlearned." That line sent everyone spiraling. Was Tyga warning Rob? Throwing shade at Chyna? Or both? Gossip blogs couldn't type fast enough. Comments exploded with theories, and some calling him a voice of reason, others accusing him of pure hypocrisy. After all, this was the same man who'd left Chyna for Kylie, setting off one of the messiest Kardashian-adjacent triangles in pop culture history. Still, insiders claimed Tyga had privately reached out to Rob. One even alleged he told him directly, "She'll play you the same way she played me." Irony at its finest. The ex who once caused chaos now pretending to play guardian angel. But whether genuine concern or petty revenge, Tyga's involvement only poured fuel on an already burning fire. Kardashian. Fans called it the full circle moment no one asked for. The internet started calling the situation Kardashian karma. Every player from the old 2016 drama returning for a chaotic encore. And while Tyga threw digital shade from the sidelines, Rob's silence grew louder. Because behind the cryptic posts and recycled drama, one truth was becoming harder to ignore. The past wasn't done with any of them. At this point, the whole saga felt like déjà vu on steroids. Rob caught between two worlds, his family's iron grip and his quiet desire for peace, while the internet played judge, jury, and meme machine. Every headline screamed that history was looping. Tyga throwing shade, Chyna reclaiming the spotlight, and Khloé losing her composure just like she did the first time. It wasn't just drama anymore. It was the Kardashian cycle. Fame, fallout, forgiveness, repeat. Inside the family, tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Kris was strategizing PR angles. Kim was all about optics. And Khloé? She was unraveling. Insiders said she'd been calling Rob daily, begging him to think clearly. Translation: walk away before the family brand got scorched again. But Rob wasn't answering. For the first time in years, he wasn't letting anyone script his narrative. And that silence, the same one that once worried them, was now power. Online, fans split down the middle. Half believed Chyna's transformation was genuine, that she'd found faith, peace, and motherhood. The other half swore she was rebranding to win the ultimate revenge, redemption through Rob. Either way, the story had shifted. The Kardashians weren't in control anymore. They weren't the narrators. They were the characters, reacting, scrambling, defending, and that terrified them. Because if Rob truly was giving Chyna another chance, even privately, it meant the empire's clean image was cracking again. The same cycle they thought they'd buried in 2016 had clawed its way back, polished and rebranded. But this time, the internet wasn't mocking them. It was dissecting them. And just when everyone thought it couldn't get any deeper, whispers started that maybe this wasn't a repeat. Maybe it was a reckoning. Every Kardashian story eventually circles back to one word: control. For years, they've built an empire by turning chaos into currency, editing heartbreak into storylines, transforming scandals into streaming gold. But this time feels different. Rob's silence, Chyna's rebirth, Tyga's cryptic warnings, Khloé's unraveling, none of it fits the family's usual script. It's messy in a way that can't be managed, human in a way that can't be spun. If this really is Kardashian karma, it's poetic. A decade after Chyna first entered their orbit, the same players have returned, older, quieter, and maybe a little wiser, but still trapped in the same loop of power and perception. Rob's soft-spoken no comment said more than any interview could. He's tired of being the family project. Whether he's reconciling with Chyna or not, his refusal to play the game shows the one thing the Kardashians never expected. He's reclaiming his story. As for Chyna, or Angela White, her transformation might be genuine, or it might be performance. But for once, she's holding the narrative, not the family she once fought. And Khloé? She's left with a question she can't fix with PR or family meetings. How do you protect someone who no longer wants saving? Maybe this isn't revenge. Maybe it isn't redemption either. Maybe it's just the inevitable unraveling of a dynasty that built its empire on controlling every frame, only to find out that, in the age of the internet, no one controls the story forever. Because if there's one thing the Kardashians should have learned by now, it's this: you can rebrand the scandal, but you can't escape the cycle. So what do you think? Is this Rob's piece, Chyna's plan, or the Kardashians' karma finally catching up? Drop your thoughts below, because with this family, the drama never ends.